Alright, so this final part, the greatest memory I've had with Godzilla. Well, I guess it's all started in 2013 with this little film called Grimm. Everyone heard about it, everyone saw it. And I remember thinking, well, if this studio was able to do this, imagine what they're going to do next year. 2014 was the year that people like me, Godzilla fans, true Daikaiju fans, were able to crawl out of the shadows and into the light. Pacific Rim was awesome, but it wasn't Godzilla 2014.
When your co-star is hundreds of feet tall, that's exactly what Bryan Cranston has got to do in the new Godzilla movie.
Godzilla. Godzilla's.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla 2014 it wasn't a movie to me, it was an event. I first heard about the film back in 2009, I think. And it was this episode of Movie Buzz. It was early in a Saturday morning. And, checking my subscriptions list on YouTube. And then I see Movie Buzz, Godzilla. I thought that was interesting. Thought maybe it's a DVD release or maybe it's a little promotion in Japan or something. Click on it, and he goes about saying how Warner Bros. And Legendary are going to get together to make a new American Godzilla based on Toho's. And I remember just pausing the video and just looking at it in awe. Marked my calendar for the year 2012. Nothing happened in 2012. And then 2013 came around, and then it was confirmed that Godzilla will come out in May 16th of 2014. So I marked my calendar for that. And as the months went on, as frustrations became, joys, happiness, frustrations through lack of trailers, promotions, or any mention of the film at all, and when the trailers were starting to hype up, when everything was starting to come together and the day got closer and closer, I just got more excited. What I ultimately did was I asked around school, I asked around with my personal posse I usually hang out with, asking them if they want to see the film. And I'd ask them for $20 so we can pick out the seats. During the time, people didn't really talk to me a lot on Facebook, so I had to rely on myself to get get $20 from them, go back home, tell my dad to order a new ticket, and it was such an exciting time. Me and my great friend David, we couldn't shut up. We couldn't contain ourselves. We had a personal countdown almost every day saying, we got 40 days. All right, now we got 30 days. We got 20 days. 10, 9, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then the day came. The day came when the King of the Monsters was supposed to return. It was such a great day. Sorry, it was a Friday. I was still in high school, and I was whizzing by the day because I just couldn't contain myself. I couldn't believe it. 5 years of waiting pointed to this very day. Day ends, talking to everybody. I had my friend on the phone, and I have everyone on Facebook. People started to cancel. I think only 2 or 3, but we were able to find people to replace them. To take the tickets so it won't go to waste. Then we had to pick up a good number of kids. I think we had to pick up, I think we had around 6 or 7 kids, including myself. The car got packed, and it got to the point where me and a close friend of mine, Otto, we had to sit in the back. And because we were both there, we both couldn't lie down because the trunk was too small. It was a hatchback though, so we could just stand if we wanted to. So we just thought, we'll just sit up and look at people that are coming from behind us. Everyone else was in the front. I think they were quiet. David, my closest friend, my best friend, he was coming in with his own friends. And I remember we bought so many tickets for so many people that we ended up taking one whole row in the theater. So knowing that, you know, from left to right, I'm going to be surrounded by people that I know. And I'm sorry. Yeah. What made that film so special to me wasn't how good it was, but rather I was able to experience it with my friends. These were the people that didn't know Godzilla at all, and quite frankly, they would never ask me about Godzilla, and I was okay with that. So I will admit it is frustrating at times, not being able to talk about things you like, but in the wake of this film to come out, a lot of people were asking me questions in terms of Godzilla. Like, I remember one time someone asked me about his origins, and I started listing them all the origins during the time. Like, there was him being a prehistoric sea reptile hiding out in the Bikini Atoll before his family got bombed, or him being a dinosaur, the last of his kind, and then being irradiated into the first. And when the film finally came out and we were watching it, that eerie music just starts playing, and I remember to this day, despite watching Infinity War recently, Godzilla 2014 was probably the best theater experiences I've ever had. Now, I'm not saying the film is better than Infinity War, no, but the opportunity to enjoy something that you like so much with people you really care about, your friends, your family, close acquaintances, family friends. I think back to that film premiere, and I don't think about the film, but I think about being surrounded by loved ones. I remember the reactions that they all had. David brought a friend of his. He's a good friend of mine too. His name is Fillmore. He was in the front, and he raved the whole audience to clap when Godzilla reigned victorious. That scene in itself was the greatest reaction I've had ever experienced with other people in the theater. You see Godzilla struggling with the Muto, grappling its head, forcing the mouth open. You don't notice it, but you could somewhat hear it, and you could somewhat see it now, but during the time I never did. He was charging up his atomic breath without us even knowing it, and then he just shoots it down, and as soon as you see that bright glow of light from the initial flame that exits his mouth, you hear this physical gasp in the audience just going, and then you see it. He shifts his body around and lets out a victorious roar, and everyone in the audience lost their minds. To this day, on May 16th, to celebrate the annual anniversary of the film, I'd always watch the 2014 film. And every time I watch it, I never think about how I thought about it, but I always thought about the initial reactions that everyone else had. What did they think about when he first appeared? What did they think about when he fought the Mutos? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? What were they seeing? And ultimately, I think out of it all, whether it be finding that Godzilla figurine or finding that one film I've always wanted to watch, watching Godzilla 2014 in the theater with everyone, close friends, family, acquaintances, and their friends, is not only my greatest Godzilla memory, but also the greatest memory I've had. I throw a lot of get-togethers, but Godzilla is the one thing I'm pretty much going to remember for a very long time. It's sad because I don't think I'll be able to experience that again. I wish I'm wrong. I really do. But I hope that by some miracle that in 2019 I'll be able to grab everyone, friends, family, and acquaintances, to see the sequel of the 2014 film, and hopefully even try and recreate what we did that day. God. Godzilla. The things I do to feel that again, try to think what other people would think about a film with you, let alone a film with a character you hold really close. The things that I do to experience that again. Personal sacrifice is what it takes to experience that again, then so be it. If you're all watching this, I really do hope we could do that again. Yeah. Unlike other films where, other film franchises where, you have the initial beginnings and it starts off slow. You have one or two movies of the one genre, and then you have this huge spike of them. But then eventually it starts to die down. You start seeing fewer films of that genre, but nevertheless the genre is still there. With Godzilla, you don't have that. We don't have that luxury at all. It begins, and we have about a decade at most, but usually half a decade of films. And usually they come out once every year. And then after that, when they say that there's going to be one more Godzilla film, that will be the last one we'll see until the next one in God knows when. While we are in a golden time, it is also time to be to not take it for granted. If you are a Godzilla fan, I suggest you take the opportunity to enjoy what you love the most while you can. Because we don't know whether Toho and if Legendary will continue with this license, with this property for much longer. That's the thing about Godzilla, he's very unpredictable. In the end, this has been an amazing journey. This has been somewhat of a rough road, but glad I traveled it. So, thank you Toho, thank you Legendary, and thank you Godzilla.